Hey yo, it's Joe Sig from Charlotte, North Carolina, West Side to be exact. Yeah. It's boring. I mean, it's not a lot of stuff to do. It might be a lot of stuff to do now, but back when I was younger, it wasn't much to do, but like really get in trouble.
Stitch in the rug, pop to explosion. Nobody wasting money on the flop.
You know, regular disenfranchised black shit. It taught me a lot about reading people and understanding the gravity of situations, and also it taught me a lot of accountability. I think what's going on now in today's culture is not a lot of accountability. It's just a lot of do whatever you want, and nobody really wants to understand the consequences or even think about them. So, you know, coming up in an era where you always had somebody showing you the wrong thing to do, you knew from the rip once you did something that what the consequences would be, and it wasn't glorified. So at a very early age, I talk about this a lot, but my uncle, he went to jail 175 years, and he was involved in criminal activity. So like, he did everything right. So in my mind, I knew I was going to make money from doing illegal activity, but I also knew that the end of the road was always going to result in death or jail. It was just like a given. I knew it was a way to get money, but the alternative was to work for someone else and not have dignity. And I would see both sides of the fence, but when it came to like criminal activity, you always knew it was going to end up in death or jail. So like, if you were going to take that risk, then you knew exactly what the outcome would be. You know what I mean? So like, just accountability. If you're gonna do it, you know what's gonna happen. No talking, no snitching. Just deal with it.
Mass communication causing aggravation, blinded by this mental masturbation.
For me, I never really come up with a concept or a hook or anything. I just start writing, and then whatever comes out, I kind of follow that train of thought. It's almost like freestyling on paper for me. I've never really come up with a concept, and if I did, it was very clear. I would write a story, or I would do something imaginative with it. That's the only time when I come up with a concept. But when I'm just talking about, when I'm just riffing and writing, I'm just, whatever's coming to my mind, whatever I'm thinking about at the time can find its way into the song and try to find some type of continuity, basically.
I can't let this lifestyle control me.
Yeah, like, that's how I started doing music. I would do parodies of my favorite artists, Tupac or Bone Thugs and Harmony. I would write their songs, but replace the words with my words, and that's like the first thing. And then on top of that, I wrote a lot of poetry. So I would just be in my room trying to discover different cadences and writing poetry at a very early age. I say around like 5 or 6. That's what got me to learn people's music. So that was like me I guess that taught me how to remember music more than anything. It was more like a utility to learn other people's music. And I didn't really start writing my own music until I got maybe in the 9th grade. And my homeboy, he was really into making his own music, and he would just be like, yo, you know, why don't you just make a song out of this? I never considered it. I just was like, I like to do it. But then I found out about recording, and it sounded like a real thing to me, so I just started doing it then.
Look, who has the fucking power to control the man? You.
No formal training. I just YouTube. If I don't know how to do it, I can YouTube it, and I got a little background in like stuff like computer engineering and stuff like that. So like, I know I'm a quick study. Whatever it is, I'll pick it up and just learn it. If nobody can do it for me, I can do it myself. That's just how I feel.
So I can't let that lifestyle control me.
I would hear a lot of different music, and I listen to so much different music that it always finds a way into my music. And I looked at that like a weakness at first. Like I didn't have my own individual sound because I pulled from so many different directions. And then I really made it a point to come up with my own sound. And then I eventually did. But what I understood about this is that I enjoy music more when I can incorporate different elements of it, which brought me to using that as a strength. Like the fact that I can do anything, I can put all that into one song, or I can spread that out throughout an album, which is where the word jux comes from. It's called Jux the Prelude, and this new album that I'm releasing is called The Jux, cutting short juxtaposition. It's like, you know, the different contrasts of music and different genres that I mix in together. It's like, that's what defines me as an artist. Like, I can do it all, so I do it all.
Joe Sig, let them niggas know what you been up to, bro.
It's really no point. To choose is you. I mean, some people you know, they're laser focused and it works out for them. And usually those artists usually tend to make it a lot faster than other artists because they have like a laser focus. They have a legit sound that they stick with, a legit flow, a legit cadence, a legit delivery, and they just stick with that. And it's easier for the crowd and the core audience to get familiar with that. Versus me, I think it's just important for longevity. If you want to be able to change with the times, if you want to be able to release music for other people to listen to, you're going to have to be able to incorporate trendiness into your music. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, though. You know, there will be other artists that will disagree with that.
This is the type of position I'm in, trying to get some new shit.
704. Yeah, that's the 4. It's just the fact that I'm from that place. Like, I'm proud of it. Like, it's not a gimmick thing to me. My unique experience with my city has given me a unique perspective, and I think that I should pay homage to where I'm from when I'm making my music because of my accent, for one. It doesn't, from what I'm told, it doesn't sound like a Charlotte accent. The way that I speak in my vernacular is not of that song that comes from Charlotte. So maybe it comes from a little chip on my shoulder that I must announce every time that I'm from Charlotte in my music. And also, it's like, you know, everybody else, they talk about where they from constantly. You know, Cam'ron's from Harlem. You know, Wiz Khalifa is from Pittsburgh. You know, Flo Rida is from Florida. You know what I mean? Flo Rida. You know what I'm saying? So, like, why not? That's how I feel.
Me by myself, I don't run with a group. Don't give a fuck if I run into you.
Awesome. I caught the COVID. It was fly. Like, it was cool to, like, meet new people and, like, you know, have my music heard and have my presence felt, like, around a new organic crowd. Like, I mean, I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't big up Jamonte enough, speaking of which, and I can't support him enough. I can't show him enough gratitude because, you know, that man, he's you know, he's done a lot of things he doesn't have to do. And I've been approached by, you know, a few people who are like, you know, how you feel about him saying he's the best in Charlotte? And I'm like, I mean, I don't feel no type of way. How am I supposed to be like offended by someone saying that they're the best? I don't see how that should offend me, and I guess because I'm from Charlotte, I'm supposed to take offense to it. But I call myself the best too. I mean, and every time I rap, I think I'm assuming that any MC, anytime they rhyme, they're trying to prove to everybody else that they're better than everybody else. So whether you say it or not, if you're in this game, you're trying to be the best, or you're calling yourself the best. But I mean, you know, it is weird.
Laugh from it cause we one and the same. No one that hate with the game. Play it, shit, play it.
Yeah, my first song was pretty violent. The first thing I ever wrote, it was more like emotional. I can't remember what it is, but every time I would write, it would be like a getaway from my, you know, from my family structure. You know, it's a lot of trauma involved in my childhood. So, you know, going to write my music at an early age, it was more about emotions and how I felt and things I thought about. I think I was pretty introspective as a young child because I would write music about the plight of women or the plight of man or the plight of like African Americans. That's my perspective, and I would write a lot about that type of stuff. But my first actual song was very violent. It's all relevant to what you're going through. When I was making music, in the beginning, I was actually doing stuff. So my mind was on that and maybe exaggerated through my music because, you know, how when you're making music, it's supposed to have shock value. You don't assume that your actual life that you're living is that dramatic. You know what I'm saying? Like, to say I just got shot at today is not enough in your mind because it happens all the time. So in your music, you may embellish a little bit, like I got shot at and I shot back and a lot of people got hit and I don't know what happened. You know, it's like that type of thing. But there were times where, you know, extra things that happen. I just know better not to talk about it. But, you know, yeah, if you live in that life, you want to talk about that type of stuff. Since I've been active, oh man, good God. The first thing I ever dropped was More Love with Flawless Claim. I was a house arrest when I wrote that. That entire album was a German producer. I don't know if his name is Flawless Claim no more. But yeah, him. And then I had Powerless Control Freak. And I had EST 1985. And I had LIG1, LIG2 at the top one, at the top two. Utatu, that's my favorite. It's on Spotify and all that. I got Juxtamatic, I got Juxta Prelude. I think that might be it. I think that's all the projects, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's it.
Clutch mentality, too weak to battle me, no heart to challenge me. So yeah,
Utatu is very jazz infused. I love jazz. It's my favorite genre of music. If it's not R&B, it's jazz. I like rap, I like hip hop, but hip hop has lost its sanctity with me. I come from the art of freestyle era, so you know everything's staged. But yeah, Utatu had a lot of jazz influence in it. It was just talking about what was going on at the time. I think in 2015 is when I wrote it. I was going through a major depression, but at the same time, I was noticing things that were going on around me as far as like police brutality. It was getting really stupid out in the streets. People were too much concerned about vanity. It was like the birth of, it was like the major boom of the social media era where people were just like really into social media, like really hard and like really onto appearances. And I put all that into my music and then I infused it with jazz, and it was just perfect to me. Like the type of the cadences I was using, the style, the wordplay, like everything was just really organic and of the moment. And it was only 3 tracks and everybody loved it. So like, yeah, it's my favorite shit.
yeah.
Man, it was a blessing and it was a curse. Like when I first had it, it was bad. Like the first day, I had a headache. I was like, I couldn't move. It wasn't cool. My brother back there can attest to that. He thought I was trying to be short with him on the phone. I'm dying, and my man is like, "Yo, what's wrong with you?" Like, but besides that, like I finished the album because of COVID. Like I did 7 tracks. You know what I'm saying? I did 7 tracks in like 4 or 5 days, and it gave me time to sit down and just like stay away from people, because at the time I stayed off social media. I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't have any company. Yeah, man, I had some solitude. I had some much needed free time to like express my thoughts and feelings. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, fine. I'm the man. I'm the fucking man. What the fuck you think?
It's giving me time to prep, man. The longer the time it takes, I'm starting to understand that just from being on the road, it's a lot of preparation. It shouldn't just be like a, fly by the seat of your pants thing. Like you're gonna need, protection for yourself. You're gonna need, know where to go, know where the spots are. Like I feel like I could have took better advantage of the Atlanta trip if I knew places to go besides just where I was gonna perform at, like what radio stations accept local artists, like who's playing the underground music, like who should I get in touch with when I come to Atlanta that's gonna support the type of music that I do, and like the proper avenues I need to take, and like who's the movers and the shakers, like because that's important. And it just gives me more time to like prep for touring, if that's what I'm gonna do. Stay ready, and gotta get ready.
Bank a lot on me, I'm the lottery. Honestly, I'm a lot of things.
Building relationships with the correct people is important. Artists, you definitely want to have some form of communication with artists that are on the same path as you, because you all can like pool your resources. But it's more important to establish real relationships with those who you would call the gatekeepers. You want to like establish relationships with those bloggers, influencers, people who have restaurants, people who like, a lot of business people, because this is a business, and it's cool to like know a lot of rappers, and it's cool to know a lot of artists, but we're all trying to do the same thing, and it's a very opportunistic industry. It is, and most of the time, the ones that are being the most opportunistic are the artists. It's not really the venues like you would think, or like the promoters. It's the artists, and they all have something to gain. So.
FFKTA. Y'all wanted some.
I think we take advantage of ourselves a lot of time. I don't really think the information is out there. Like if you can't take advantage of it in this day and age, you're just not doing no reading. You're not doing no researching, and you're looking for a handout. That's it. That's just, we're taking advantage of each other. Basically, that's how that's going. I work with who work with me. I can work with other artists. Like this new project is 10 tracks. 5 producers. So everybody got like 2 apiece. I got another project that I'm working on. I got one from a major producer, Drugs Beats. So like I will work with whoever makes the album sound right sonically. And if they're able to be, you know, if I can work with them, I will. But I got that one producer thing. I got that from listening to people's albums like Jay or DMX. Like DMX was mainly Dan Grease with that first album, and with Jay it was like No ID, and then he had like Kanye, and the album just seems more complete when it's like just one or two producers versus like having 10, like a bunch of major big names on it. It's like hard to follow the album. It's like chasing hits.
To the first green light.
Father is cool, man. Like I started young, so like I was like 16, 17 when I had my first kid, and like I just knew that responsibility was mine. I wasn't really mature enough, obviously, because I had my son in places I probably shouldn't have. Getting older, and like it's like you just want to love your child. You want to just kind of give them everything that you didn't have, and you're a lot more understanding. As you get older, it starts to become more of a love thing more than a discipline thing. Like I remember just wanting to be my kids to be so militant and disciplined and like, listen to what I'm saying and be smart. But as you get older, you just want to hug them and kiss them, man. Like you want to be mushy. You know, all that shit you were taught when you was as a young man to be all tough and, you know, don't shed no tears in your exterior and shut up, boy, stop crying. You stop doing that. You just start realizing like there's another side of life that you need to teach your child about. It has nothing to do with like chastising them for every little thing they do. I mean, I play my music for them and if they like it, my kids are pretty honest. They'll tell me like, you know, they'll let you know. But I know if they like trail off, like if I play a song and they kind of like just kind of walk out the room and do their own thing, I know that's trash. Like I gotta know it. Like I just know like, oh, it's trash. But if I play it and they like dance or they like, you know, say play it again or they come closer and they want to listen to me do it, then I know like, okay, I'm on the right path with this because kids love music and they got an idea too of what's going on. You won't take food out my mouth. This new project is called The Juxtaposition. For long, I got Imperative, DJ Been Working, Fat Beats, Trife. The big homie Trife from Seattle, protege at No ID, worked with Freeway. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got them on the album. The album is just like a journey through my mom. Like, I think it's my best project yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it is. Like, my homeboy back there saying, nah, there's still room for improvement, obviously. I love everything I got on there. I'm planning to release physicals in April, and also it's going to be on Bandcamp in April. I'm going to release it on all DSPs a little later. I want to give the true fans a chance to, like, get a hold of that physical copy and, like, you know, having that experience of ripping the package open, you know, it's just like, oh, I'm about to play this. Like, this is the shit. Like, I used to get when I used to listen to, you know, Illmatic and stuff like that. It doesn't sound like anything else. From my understanding, like, it just doesn't sound like anything else. I mean, of course, there's a couple of sounds that are reminiscent. I would say it's a more polished sound. If I do have anything that sounds like it, is way more polished, it's way more thought out. You can tell that that my delivery and my cadence is way more on point. I mean, the lyrics, like, I just kind of chilled on this one and put out what I like to hear. That's basically what I did with this project. Everything that I like to hear is in that project, and I listen to everybody. So,
Bitch, I'm a dog, bitch, I'm a dog.
I'm just gonna focus on music right now. I'm gonna start, you know, teaching somebody to shoot my videos because it's really hard to find a videographer, and like, you know, it's rough. But I might, you know, I still from time to time, like, I've shot some people's stuff behind the scenes. Like, even this year, I just haven't really said nothing about it because I don't think it's important. Like, I'm not the videographer. It's like dudes out there doing that, and I'm just like here to help. Like, if you need me to hold a camera, you need me to like edit something, you need me to like get some color correction, or like you need some photography, you need any of that stuff, like, if I'm free, I'll help you out. But I just don't want to put it out there that that's my business because it gets weird. It gets real weird.
Tell me I'm chasing the check. Meanwhile, I'm running from that and dodging the shake.
Y'all see Dwell magazine? Wait. Do you look at Extraordinary Homes on Netflix? Nobody? I watch it, and if you guys are paying attention to this shit, if you watch it, you're gonna see me in one of them Extraordinary Homes. I'm gonna have like one of those double-sized California King beds. I'm gonna have like 6 women in the bed with me, all consensual, of course. I'm gonna have one of them cooking, you know, food for the house, you know what I mean? Like, I got this well thought out, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have a couple of classic old schools. I'm gonna have like one brand new something. I don't really know what it's gonna be. Maybe a Benz. I'm gonna have a real big, full closet full of clothes and shoes because I'm a sneakerhead. I'm gonna stop, but as you can see, I got this well thought out. I know how I'm gonna do this.
Are you gonna stay in Charlotte with all that?
Oh man, why you ask me that? Yeah, I might. I don't know, man. Like, it's between Charlotte and Atlanta, to be honest with you. I thought about Hawaii too, but I think that's when Kanye first started like going crazy, when he moved to like Hawaii. So I'm kind of on the fence about the Hawaii thing. So yeah, I love you, Kanye. Shout out everybody in Charlotte. How about that? Because I don't want to leave none of y'all out. It's a whole lot of y'all niggas and queens, kings and queens. Yeah. My name is Joe Sig, and I am rocking with For Artists by Artists.
That shit just piqued my interest. The way you look right now, that
Y'all too, bro. Like, I didn't want to leave it out. Shout out. Can I shout y'all out? Is it cool? I can say it. Yo, shout out to Malcolm, aka Rails. I paid attention to his music. You probably didn't know that. I listened to a lot of his stuff. I seen him. I don't know if it was with Black Linen or not, but I seen him performing one time. He's a really dope artist. FAxA, of course. He's one of my favorite artists. I listen to him a lot on a regular basis. So his Spotify number's probably going dumb high. I got like a streaming farm in my house that I play all his music. No, I'm just playing. But nah, that's the homie, yeah. So yeah, shout out to y'all.